Good afternoon. Let me begin by congratulating UNIDOS for the extraordinary work you are doing in this unprecedented moment in American history. We have a president who works overtime trying to divide the American people based on the color of our skin or where we were born or the language that we speak. Together, we are going to undo the damage that Trump has caused and bring our nation back together again. Now, everybody here knows, and one of the clear manifestations of the ineptitude, dysfunctionality of Congress today, everybody here has experienced and felt the incredible sadness that we have seen in this last week with the mass killings in Dayton and in El Paso. And today, I say to Mitch McConnell, Republican leader in the Senate, stop allowing the NRA to dictate gun policy in America. Listen to the American people. And the American people are very clear about it. Overwhelming numbers. They believe in common sense gun safety legislation, expanding background checks, doing away with the so-called gun show loophole, making sure that people who buy guns legally are not selling them to criminals. And in my view, something I have believed for decades, the time is long overdue to end the sale and distribution of assault weapons in this country. Assault weapons are military guns designed to kill people rapidly. They should not be on the streets of America. Let us ban the sale and distribution. But obviously, we cannot stop there. When we look at El Paso, for example, we understand that the killer there was motivated by a strong hatred of immigrants. My family, my father, came to this country from Poland at the age of 17 without a nickel in his pocket, couldn't speak English, and he had not much education. So I know a little bit about being in a family of immigrants. And today I say to Donald Trump, stop your anti-immigrant rhetoric. Stop the hatred. Because that language, that hatred, that divisiveness creates a situation where certain people will do terrible things. And the good news also is, despite Trump's demonization of immigrants, the American people and I and you understand we need to move to comprehensive immigration reform and a path towards citizenship. We need to provide legal status to the 1.8 million young people in the DACA program and expand that program. And we need a humane border policy such that we are not snatching tiny babies from the arms of their mothers. But as a nation, we need to do even more than that. We need to move toward health care for all people as a human right. We need to raise the minimum wage to a living wage. We need to provide educational opportunity to all people regardless of income, and we need to cancel student debt in America. And despite what Trump believes, climate change is very real. We're going to have to take on the fossil fuel industry and save this planet for our children and our grandchildren.
Senator Sanders, we appreciate you being here, and remember when you joined us in 2015, and know that you're not a stranger here, and we appreciate the work you've been championing on so many fronts. You know, you talked a little bit about the repercussions and the tragedy in El Paso and gun violence, but I was wondering if you could kind of just tell us a little bit about how you intend to address hate and racial division and unite Americans as President of the United States.
I believe two things. Number one, I do not believe that people are born with hatred. I think hatred is stoked, is promoted by people who have an end in mind. For example, Trump believes as a political calculus that he can win this election not on his ideas, which are few and far between, but based on dividing the American people up. He uses his bully pulpit to say that that person over there is the reason you're earning low wages, don't have health care. That's the reason. I hate her, hate him. What a president should be doing is talking about how we bring our people together and how, in fact, in my case and in your case, this country was built by immigrants who did the hardest work. As immigrants or the children of immigrants, there's nothing for us to be ashamed about. We should be proud of what our parents have done to make this country great.
So, one other topic we wanted to cover with you, and maybe a couple here still yet. We had a lot of questions that were submitted by our participants, and one in particular I wanted to ask was, how do you plan to support Puerto Ricans who continue to struggle following Hurricane Maria and with the persistent economic challenges on the island, and what would you do if you became president?
Well, I would listen to Carmen Julene Cruz, the mayor of San Juan, who's one of my co-chairs. And let us understand, first of all, let us acknowledge and praise and support the incredible courage of the people of Puerto Rico who went out onto the streets and stood up against corruption and austerity. Incredible. But we should understand that the crisis in Puerto Rico is not of recent origin. It's not just recent corruption. That island has been in a depression for decades. Poverty has been increasing. Schools have been shut down. Pensions have been cut. Meanwhile, Wall Street vulture hedge fund operators have made billions of dollars in profit while the people of that country has suffered. So let me tell you boldly one of the things that we do. We have to tell Wall Street they cannot get blood out of a stone, that they're going to have to allow the people of that island to grow and prosper before you drain all of the resources out there. Second of all, unlike Trump, we remember that the people of Puerto Rico are American citizens. And they need significant help. They need a modern-day Marshall Plan so that the young people of the island are not forced to leave, but can stay in their own homes and create decent-paying jobs. Recently at the University of Puerto Rico, tuition has gone way, way up, making it hard for people to go to school there. That is crazy. And that is why, among other things, for Puerto Rico and for the 50 states, I believe we should make public colleges and universities tuition-free.
Let's go forward in time. You're elected President of the United States.
That's a good idea.
First 100 days, what's the top of your list for the first 100 days?
There is no one top. There are so many issues that have to be addressed. We cannot ignore the crisis of climate change. We've got to transform our energy system. We have got to bring comprehensive immigration reform to the floor of the House and the Senate. We have to have an executive order which restores the legal protections for the young DACA people. We have got to raise the minimum wage to a living wage, at least $15 an hour. And we have got to begin the process of doing what every other major country on earth does, guarantee health care to all people as a right, not a privilege. And we have got to have the courage to take on the pharmaceutical industry who are ripping us off every single day. I recently went to Canada recently with a group of people suffering from diabetes, bought insulin there for 1/10 of the price charged in America. On my first day, we will make it easy for people to buy prescription drugs in other countries and substantially lower the price of medicine in America. We have to deal with a broken criminal justice system which impacts disproportionately Latinos and African Americans. So, Janet, it is going to be a very busy first day. And then on the second day, we really get to work.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank Senator Bernie Sanders for his time here and for joining us. I'll walk out with you here. Thank you, Senator.